Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next installment of where I read James's lore, uh, on in VC and stuff. Uh, this one is called "Come to Grief," and it's a lot shorter than the other ones. Well, I think this one's medium length compared to the next one, but the next one's the shortest. So like apples, tomatoes, or something. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. We're gonna we'll just keep going and stuff. Yeah. Come to grief. Just trigger warning for arguments that get a little physical. Everybody still loves each other. They're just taking James's death really hard. This is an interlude. Takes place after Dying Days, but before Hey Dad. Alright, here we go. Come to grief. Nicholas Nicky Wright was a billionaire. His family hailed from a long adventurer line, having been one of the founding families of Civic City. Their coffers ran deep, especially after Theresa and Matthew Wright had gone on a wild, continent-hopping adventure with Alfred Coppermount in tow. It was enough for this. Far worth the price the very skilled cleric, Azura Azurani, had requested. A diamond worth 1,000 gold pieces. Nick had it evaluated and appraised by the jeweler with Azurani present, taken from his family vaults. It was a family heirloom, something just in case. Nick hopes Theresa and Matthew would be able to forgive him for not using it for their own ceremonies. But he had had over 20 years to grieve and move on. And this was his son. Peck was present for the ritual, having finally returned from his dungeon crawl with his party in tow. Nick still had the bruise from their reunion, Peck's angry, hurt screams echoing in his ears in the vault of the cave, being held back by his very teammates that had taken him from Gotham in the first place. He was leaning against the wall of the study, still dressed in his blue-black armor and leathers, sword strapped to his back. Alfred served them all tea before they began, his elven ears twitching and betraying his anxiety behind the stubborn, stiff lip he was clinging to. James's body was laid gently on a cot in the middle of the room, wounds dressed and bandaged. His blue eyes gently closed, and it was in his red hoodie and his soft blue sweats that Nick could almost imagine that his dear boy had fallen asleep reading. Azurani knelt down before James, a hand clutching her divine symbol gently resting on his chest, right above over his heart. In her other hand, she holds the diamond. She breathes in. The candles lit around the room, and the cot flare with the breath, glowing brighter as the flames grow higher, nearly touching the ceiling at points. She exhales, and the flames ebb back into their tiny flicker flames. Nick cannot tear his eyes away from the cleric who can possibly bring his baby boy home. It is silent, the only sounds of the crackle of the flames as Azurani breathes in again, and the candles flare bright. The minutes crawl. In between breaths, Azurani begins to chant her prayers to her god. A pleasant memory you shared with the boy, Azurani requests, voice strained near the hour mark as sweat drips down her brow. He is not... I require something to tie him towards his place in this realm. Alfred is the first to speak, his old timber fragile as he steps forward and places his hand on James's cold wrist. Oh, my dear boy, my dear Master James, I remember the day Master Nick brought you home to us. You were still so very distrustful, yet when I gave you that bowl of old porridge, you drove right into the bowl with such fervor that it took me months to find that you truly detested such a dish for its texture. The look of stunned relief you saw as you saw the table with its bounty. Oh, my dear boy. If I could give you such wonder at a feast for the rest of eternity. He wipes at his eyes with his free hand. I treasured every moment of joy I was able to bring you. The days we spent shaping dough and cookies. Oh, my dear boy, I do not regret a minute spent any minute spent instead of the tiring task of maintaining the servants. Peck is next, leaving the crowd of his adventurer friends. His gauntleted hand brushes against James's shoulder. I know I didn't make the best impression when we met, little bird. His voice is thick. But I hope you know that I care so fucking much. There is no protest from the old elf standing shoulder to shoulder with his oldest grandson. Peck continues. I love you, little bird. My baby brother. I promised you I would always come when you called. And we were doing so well. We dipped out to Future World that one time when you and Nick drove each other's spare, and we got burgers and a shake from that one place that was close to Superstar. You were so appalled when I put my shake on my burger patty, but his shoulders shake. I only did that because I wanted to make you cry out in disgust. The way your nose scrunches. Oh, baby brother. It was such a cute expression, I had to do it. I could have done without the mustard or the ketchup mixing with the shake, though. But I'd do it all over again if you just to see you call me a gross loser one more time. Just one more time, little bird. Tears drip from Nick's eldest eyes, and Peck covers his eyes as he weeps. Just one more time. Azarani pants, face damp. Nicholas, you'd better say something or we might just lose him. I'm sorry, boys, it won't be enough. Nick suddenly finds all the words he'd wanted to say stuck in his throat, like someone had stabbed a circle of knives inside to keep them all trapped. He steps forward and gently cards his hand through black curls. The words don't come. Instead, he just weeps. His knees give out. Please come home, Jamie, he begs. Please come home, James. Azarani cries out in shock as a cold wind slams the window open and the room is plunged into darkness as the candles go out at once. No! I lost him! There is an anguished scream as Peck launches himself at Nick. This is all your fault! Peck's fist hits Nick square in the face. He doesn't stop at one, and Nick can't find it in him to dodge or restrain Peck. He thinks it's your fault! He thinks you think he's a murderer, and he won't come home. This is all your fault. Enough. Alfred's voice is ice as he relights the candles, yanking Peck up by the collar and dragging him off his adoptive father. Have some fucking respect for the dead and take it outside. Peck jerks himself out of Alfred's grasp. Don't fucking bother. It's obvious Nicholas doesn't care about this family. Leviathans, let's go. He storms out of the study, wiping at his streaming eyes. The remaining members of the Leviathan party murmur quiet, awkward condolences and stream out after him. Nick slowly sits up, grief so sharp it cuts him to the quick. I tried. Was he truly unwilling, Azura? Azarani wipes at her brow, panting from exertion. It's hard to say. The only way that spell can fail without the added tethers was if he was unwilling or wasn't free to do so. Nick's face crumples. Then it truly is my fault. Thank you for your services, Miss Azorani, Alfred says smoothly, his grief shimmering in his eyes. You will find your fee in your vault by the morrow, and one of the unseen servants will show you to your guest quarters for the night so you may recover from the exhaustion. With Azarani supported and escorted to her room for the night, Alfred returns to the broken shell of his son in all but blood. Oh, my boy, Alfred whispers, tugging Nick into a hug as the man shatters apart. Oh, my dear boy, I am so sorry, but he is resting now. He didn't wish to come home, Appa. Nick sobs. He didn't want to come home, and it's all my fault. I made him believe that I hated him. Alfred holds his broken son and cannot find any words to make it better. There are no words for something like this, no respite from the grief. It rains the day of the funeral. Peck pays for the flowers before Alfred can even order them, a flood of white, yellow, and orange, because James always adored those colors that belonged to Peregrine, even as he adored red. Red was too close to blood, to the red ink that had covered Nick's hands as he had dug his son out of the charred rubble. Nick is the last one at James's grave, white marble and polished to shine. Here lies James Thomas Wright, beloved son. Nick finds he has no strength left in aching knees, his hand resting upon the stone that marks his youngest's grave. I love you, Jamie, he chokes out. The gods know I didn't say it enough. But I love you. I know you didn't. I just wanted... I love you, Jay. I love you so much. I still remember the day we met. My knees do too. You always had such a great swing, Jamie. I was surprised you never wanted to try out for the city cricket team. But you always wanted to help. That was what I admired about you most, kiddo. He sobs. Oh, my boy, what will I do without your light? The world is already so dark without you. So gray. Gotham weeps with Nick. Even her grays seem more desaturated. I love you, Jamie. I love you. He places the bouquet down at the fresh earth and stands. Alfred was waiting for him with the car at the ready. Shall I make you a cup of tea, my boy? He asks as he drives the slow route back to the manor. No, I will be down at the cave. Nick knows Alfred is eyeing him disapprovingly through the mirror, but he doesn't respond to the judgment. Please do not bother me. I will be going out early tonight. Gotham needs Nightjar. Trickster is still out there. I will apprehend him and bring him to justice, Nick says. Alfred sighs and turns down the faster side street. As you wish, Master Nick. And that is Come to Grief.